out because it's doing so well right now. It's a very strong weapon. Jaehyun's a very strong character. So yeah, really no surprises. Stingray also said that it's really not his kind of weapon. Even if he sees it doing really well this tournament, he probably won't pick it up.
All right, well, at the very least, basically guaranteed to have a Jaehyun in the grand finals. Right now, we've got Phazon versus Sandstorm in the winners final. We've got the Hanbok Jaehyun on Phazon, and then I think that's Death Jester on Sandstorm.
Now, it's interesting seeing Phazon this far because Phazon has only placed top 3 twice.
Ever?
In over a year. Okay. And now he's guaranteed top 3. So this is huge to see him come out with this new weapon when other players who have a better pedigree than him are also playing with this new weapon. And look at the health right now. 45 seconds into the game, has Sandstorm in the red. The sword, a very familiar weapon to Phazon coming out. Pocket Sand gets the KO, and a massive lead here in game 1 for Phazon of all players.
Yeah, I know Daiku actually tweeted out about this, that Sandstorm, he's done a lot of practicing of the offensive of the Greatsword, but hasn't done too much practice of the defense of it. And he's confident in his mirror match ability, but right now Phazon, able to do a little bit of both, is one of the reasons why he is out-surviving Sandstorm, putting out that offensive damage. But there comes Sandstorm with a fantastic reset in the middle of that one. Got him with the opener and then reset for the big 3-piece to finish off the stock.
Now, I did mention Phazon's possible other picks coming out with the Hattori and the Wu Shang. Sandstorm also has another pick, and it's specifically a counter pick for Greatsword, and it's coming out with the familiar Onyx that we've seen from him several times in the past. He feels like he can float above and fly over a lot of what Greatsword has with the cannon very easily. So even if his Greatsword doesn't work out, which, I mean, it's doing really well right now, he's already tied it up, brought back from that huge lead that Phazon has, he still has that Onyx as the other pick that he's also very confident in.
Yeah, but in the straight 1-to-1 Greatsword mirror match, it looks like Phazon is just barely getting ahead, but as I say it, Sandstorm again gets the opener. It's that neutral light opener, and then immediately resets forward with that chase dodge, and then gets the 3-piece, finishing off with the neutral closer.
Sword again coming out for Phazon. This is looking like it might be the weapon, and it is for him to finish off that stock. Now going dead even. Seems juggling weapons. What's he going to stick with? Looks like he's going to opt for the sword here. He's now used Pocket Sand for 2 of his KOs. That might be, well, the last one was a side air, but it was really set up with the Pocket Sand. So we'll see if that's kind of his favorite. He doesn't have to get quite as much damage on the stock like he would with a D-Light recovery or a D-Light side air to be able to KO with just the standard sword.
Yeah, that Pocket Sand, definitely one of the favored signatures on the Jaehyun sword kit. Oh, Sandstorm swinging back with this Greatsword. He's getting the better in the neutral. You're seeing him open up Phazon just a couple more times than Phazon is. And that's one of the reasons why he's starting to sneak out this lead. And the recovery from the center of the stage going to give Sandstorm game number 1.
Now we're going to be going right into this next one. They're moving on through a lot of soft platform maps being taken out. Small Brawlhalla, Small Enigma, Crystal Temple, Small Great Hall, Miami Dome, all gone. So we just have 2 of these single moving soft platform maps from Small Mammoth and Apocalypse. And then we also have the Demon Island.
Interesting, not too much favoritism towards those soft platforms. I've seen things like, we saw Stingray utilizing those soft platforms on Crystal Temple, right? Able to throw out like a down sig on top of it, just getting that extra height on them. You can kind of do the same thing with Jaehyun, with the Greatsword, throwing out the neutral sig on those soft platforms. But it looks like they want no soft platforms as we go to Demon Island for game number 2.
Sandstorm's going to get the better of the 2 of the initial weapon spawn. Phazon grabs one very quickly, and they both did get Greatsword initially, but Sandstorm definitely coming out on top here. Moves over to the edge, then fades back a little bit. Didn't want to commit too hard. Phazon with a nice 3-piece there. Sandstorm only gets 1 hit. There's the sidelight. Oh, beautiful finish off. That was an orange KO for Sandstorm there. That's been one of the very scary things about his Greatsword that I didn't quite see from Phazon as much, is that possibility for explosion, for him to get those 4-piece, 5-piece that ends up in a KO in orange. And that's what's so scary that he was able to do on Scythe, he's been able to do it on Gauntlets, and now that's carried over into his Greatsword as well.
Oh my god, Sandstorm's actually playing this Greatsword so insane right now. Oh, the resets
oh my
again.
Gosh.
Has Phazon gotten a hit? Oh my goodness, into the neutral stick. I want to rewind and slow-mo all of that because it's so brilliant what he was doing. He did like a dash forward, turnaround neutral light because with Greatsword, you can't continue those strings off stage. So he goes for the option to put Phazon more towards the center of the stage and then again resets it more central because he wants to keep this going. Sandstorm is playing this Greatsword so well.
Now, something that Phazon was doing better last game that I was hoping from his point of view would continue, it's a nice insig to KO off the top, is Sandstorm was throwing out a lot of moves, and Phazon was mostly avoiding them. But then you saw on that second stock there, Phazon just fell into everything. The dodge was gone, the movement options were gone, and Sandstorm put out like 100 damage in just a matter of moments. So definitely a different game than we saw in Game 1. Sandstorm adapted very quickly to the way Phazon is dodging and avoiding his attacks.
Yeah, the way that first stock went really made me feel like Sandstorm had already honed in on how Phazon wanted to dodge out of these Greatsword strings. Doesn't even matter, can't dodge all the nairs. Sandstorm takes game number 2 in convincing fashion. And now it's on Phazon. He's got to clean up those defensive options as he switches over to the Wushang for game number 3.
Now, he is coming in with this Wushang pick. Now, I was thinking, because we saw that Sandstorm has a counter pick on a character with gauntlets. Boomy going into this picked a character with gauntlets. And I was wondering if it was like specifically a gauntlet matchup thing. And I was talking to Boomy about it. And he was saying, really, gauntlets are just kind of like one of your second best weapons in the game in general. So it's just a really strong weapon that you can play regardless of what you're playing up against.
Yeah, I can definitely feel that. I don't feel like a lot of people think Gauntlets is specifically favored in the matchup against Greatsword, but like you're saying, Gauntlets just very good overall in the game right now.
Of course, Phazon not starting off with the gauntlets. He has the spear in hand on this Reina Wushang. Shouts out to Dan Fornace and everybody else at the Rivals of Aether team. Nice side sig from Phazon. Not even going to send Sandstorm off screen. He is just in the orange. Ooh, he should not have gone with that. That was so dangerous. He did it. He started it so high up. It was incredibly telegraphed.
I think if he had reset his jumps before it would have been a little bit better. Because he didn't really reset his jumps, he was forced to go for that wall option, and then it just started making him predictable, put him in that panic position. Sandstorm, again with this Greatsword, trying to widen this gap in the stocks, going with the falling down air. Punish opportunity, but he goes too early!
Bro, that's me in ranked every time a Wushang charges that down swing. I'm like, I'm going to punish it, and I never punish it.
The power of charge signature is just kind of mixing you up. I'm surprised he didn't just go straight for the downlight. Downlight has the range advantage there, but either way, Phazon capitalizing on the little misstep from Sandstorm.
Nice down air into the side air. Side six coming out just over that corner. Phazon, bro, you gotta chill a little bit more. Does a good job staying out of the way of so many of those moves. Nice little down air out of Hit Stun. Also did a weapon toss to follow it up.
Oh, why?
Brother.
What are these ground pounds from Phazon? They're so incredibly risky. They make me sweat just a little bit every single time.
He's on pace with Sandstorm so far, but I just think the risk to reward there is just not favorable for Phazon.
But either way, he has gotten Sandstorm into the red here. Phazon just needs a sidelight into the recovery. Could be the stock if he can find that hit. Meanwhile, Sandstorm taking full advantage of the huge hitboxes of this Greatsword. Resets backwards towards the stage to continue the string. Weapon toss also connects onto Phazon, and Phazon is gone. 3-0 in favor of Sandstorm, and he is going to the grand finals.
Very easy set, or at least it looked easy for Sandstorm. Really kind of, aside from that first game, Phazon didn't really have much there to answer. He'd be on pace for a little while, but then Sandstorm would just kind of take it and run. You saw that in the last game that we just watched. They were even, both of them were on their second stock in the red, and then all of a sudden, Sandstorm got the KO. Phazon was trying to answer back. You saw that Gauntlet side sig come out, and then there was a massive, monstrous punish that put out basically 100, maybe more than 100 damage that almost sent Phazon off screen just like that. So man, you look at the pure string power, damage power that Greatsword has in its kit. if you're worried about the last chance qualifier or BCX, you got to learn how to play against it, because that is going to be a very real problem for a lot of players going forward in this year of Brawlhalla Esports.
Yeah, I mean, people are already talking about it on the social medias, talking about how strong Greatsword is and how much further people who have put in that time into the Greatsword were able to get. Of course, it's the new meta, it's the new weapon on the block, so you got to make sure that you know your matchups. But with that, Sandstorm goes on into the grand finals. That is going to put Phazon into the losers final to await the winner of our next match. And guaranteed at least one of these players will not be using that Greatsword and will not be playing that Jaehyun. But we've got Boomy currently waiting for his opponent Stingray. And I was watching earlier, and has Stingray played the same character at all? I know he played, he played Ragnar twice, but other than that, like, he's been mixing up his characters a lot throughout this tournament.
Yeah, he's been changing it up a lot. Now, he's one of the few like Qatar players who we see picking multiple Qatar characters, or at least as many as he does. Like in the past, he's even played Queen Nai. He's played Ragnar, he's played Asuri, he's played the Queen Nai. I think he's even played Sentinel at one point. You're seeing the stats on screen. Experience here is definitely going to favor Boomy. But man, it's Stingray. He's made it this far. He's playing really well today. Qatars are in a pretty good spot right now. The Qatar players might be coming out of the woodwork a little bit. I know Wrenched was happy with some of the recent changes to Qatars, with getting more impulse, dash impulse on the side light. So we'll see if Stingray is able to get past Boomy, because Boomy will have a weapon in his hands that deals very well with someone right on top of you up close and personal, and that's the gauntlets.
And Boomy, of course, going to be starting this one off with the forearms, that crossover, mirroring the abilities of Core. He's been doing really well with these gauntlets too, getting very long extended strings and then utilizing the range of these signatures to catch his opponents with slide charges or just on stage straight horizontal range.
And that harkens back to people would always ask questions in the past like, oh, who's the best hammer? Who's the best gauntlet player? Who's the best spear player? And my answer for a very long time was always Boomy whenever he decides to play that weapon. And I think that's partially extended over to his gauntlets. He's done so many good things that gauntlets have as tools in their kit. Like he just throws the moves out really well. He can also hit the GC D-Light into the Nair, into the recovery pretty consistently, and it's not easy. He gets reads really well. He gets reactions really well. He uses the signatures really well. He's having a tough time this game, though, against Stingray, and this is on small Brawlhaven. This is where, like, Boomy was flourishing earlier. He was playing really well on the small stages and not as well on the big stages. But here's Stingray's eating his lunch!
I mean, I didn't want to say it, but pre-top 8, Stingray 3-0'd Boomy quite handedly, and there was the hope for the salty run back here in the losers semifinal, but Boomy is just getting got again. Stingray looking like he could start off game 1 with a 3 stock if he can get the next 2 stocks off of Boomy. Good dodges, but Boomy with a nice neutral light. Down air will interrupt, but the wake up side air looking like a chosen bot. Stingray gonna get another stock off of Boomy.
Now, Stingray did get 3 stocks in the previous set that they played together. Definitely very confidently took that. But you saw towards the end, like, you could see it in his play. Boomy basically gave up. He was done. He was ready to move on from that set and go down into the loser's bracket. I don't know if that's the case here. Obviously, we're not seeing game 3 Boomy here in game 1. So I don't know. I still got high hopes for Boomy here. His gauntlets have been looking really good today, but Stingray, man, not playing necessarily the most on meta with this Asuri pick.
There's definitely something like awkward about Boomy's movement, though, for me personally. Like, he's just kind of running forward at Stingray, and Stingray just keeps catching him moving forward. Gets him with downlights as Boomy's trying to land, just consistently outspacing Boomy and then punishing him at every point. Look at how Boomy's just walking into these neutral lights. Stingray's hit him with 3 neutral lights. Yeah,
Boomy's, I think he's got to be basically done. Going into 3 neutral lights, not a good look for the mental of Boomy going forward. Set's not done. This is just game 1. The GC down signature. Still isn't able to find this KO. D-Sig again coming out, gets punished with the recovery. 2 stocks on Stingray, 0 on Boomy. Going into the next one.
Looking born broken right now. He's going to switch over to the Yumiko. This is an interesting pick. I am a fan of the Yumiko. I think Bo's in a great place right now. But the last time I remember Boomy playing Yumiko, he went pretty far in the winner's bracket, and then it just started to fall apart. And that's what I'm worried about right now is if he's already fallen apart with the core, is he going to just fall further with this Yumiko? We'll find out as we get into game number 2 versus Stingray sticking on the Asuri.
Now he does have the hammer carryover from core. I wasn't really feeling his hammer last game, and he's already getting chopped up a little bit this game so far. Throws out the wisps, goes for the dash jump side air to then cover further beyond that in the air. More wisps coming out. I expect those to be a major part of his gameplay here. I think it'll continue as well when he has the bow. That will hopefully cover a grounded approach from Stingray. Neutral light, turnaround neutral light.
Stingray is catching these dodge downs from Boomy, just completely reading it. He's done it a couple of times already. Gonna chase after that neutral signature. Now we're seeing Boomy's bow come out, throws out the down sig in the wrong direction, but it is kind of bringing him back in here. He's getting the damage put out. Could see Stingray in the red soon.
Good side air, could set up for the edge guard here. Stingray's able to get back. Boomy's a little bit afraid. Oh, gets priority with the side light. Not able to turn it into anything more than that. Strips the field of the weapon, picks up the hammer. Stomp side air for the KO. He's going to be able to get his pick of the litter here in terms of weapons. Going to juggle them right as Stingray spawns back in. Oh! The neutral heavy comes in.
And Stingray just taking a quick drive around the block before picking up the sword. Going to be sticking with this sword. Switches over to the Katars, and Boomy's got no weapon spawns. Waiting for the spawn, but Stingray right on top of it. He has got the coverage. Boomy picks up the hammer.
These weapon tosses from Stingray have got to be so tilting. Like, he'll throw out a neutral light on sword and immediately toss his weapon. He'll throw out a side light and immediately toss his weapon right after. And he doesn't do it every time, so you can't consistently avoid it. It's just, it'd be very irritating. If I was playing against that in ranked, I would be very mauled.
Yeah, like, Boomy looks pretty irritated right now with the way that he's playing, but again, back to the bow, suddenly all the confidence comes in. He seems like his hammer is just not the answer to Stingray's Katars.
Did see him throw out the wisps a couple times on the bow. Will possibly cover a grounded approach from Stingray. Great punish there on Boomy's read with that neutral signature. Going a little bit too far off stage for comfort. Stingray capitalizes, gets the KO. Hammer now in Boomy's hands against Stingray's sword. There's the side light. He backs up just a little bit. They're just kind of going back and forth. Stingray's on the left, now Boomy's on the left. Stingray's on the left, now Boomy's on the left. Now Stingray went far enough to the left that he was able to get the KO. Boomy coming back in with the bow. Definitely the weapon I would want to see him more on. D-light into the neutral light. Doesn't get the recovery follow-up. He's over on the right side of the stage on that soft platform.
He's playing very safe right now. Wants to utilize the range advantage, but the second he starts moving forward, Stingray gets the punish. Went for the bow, down air into the ground pound. Stingray able to dodge out. Now Boomy starting to show some trouble here as Stingray drops the downlight side air. One more downlight side air, and Boomy is basically going to be knockout.
That neutral light sent him really far. Stingray going back over to the sword. The second swipe of the side air is going to put Boomy in not a great spot here. D-light recovery is going to do it. 2 games up here in this best of 3. Stingray in a great spot.
Yeah, this is looking really good for Stingray, and Boomy recognizes that the bow at least worked a little bit against Stingray, so he's going to be going over to the Koji for a higher dexterity bow, and he'll have the sword as well, considering the hammer didn't work too hot against Stingray. But now, this is the last legs of Boomy. This is game 3. Boomy, if he loses here, Stingray will get that top 3 finish, and Boomy will be knocked out of the tournament.
Now this Koji pick, he's going to have the bow carryover. Again, he's been carrying over one weapon at a time. It now hasn't been the same weapon as he carried over the hammer. Now he carried over the bow. But he's going to go sword v sword against Stingray. We're already about 20 seconds into this game, and Stingray hasn't found any major damage. So definitely great improvement from before. Again, neutral light into the weapon toss.
Yeah, just those weapon toss pressure moments from Stingray. And it's not like he's using them super long range the way that you'll see some other people use weapon tosses as like ways to open up their opponents. Stingray's using them incredibly close in some situations. There, he's going to swap weapons over to the sword for the mirror match. Boomy playing this vertical game against Stingray right now.
Seen a lot of movement coming out from Boomy. Goes for the D-Sig. Oh, punish! And then a counter punish.
Didn't hit the down
man.
Nice
He
punish.
was so close. Stingray got just above it with his sword recovery, but Boomy's still able to find the KO in a good spot here. Around 100 damage on this stock. Weapon spawn comes in. Recovery sends Boomy high. Stingray easily able to grab the weapon. It's guitars in his hands. Sidelight, in-light. Again goes for that turnaround in-light. Doesn't get it this time. Caught dodging in. With the signature from Stingray, Boomy over on the edge. Has to be careful how high he plays. He goes high. In comes the recovery from Stingray. That's not going to KO, but then the nair there to finish him off.
Completely even that one up with the sword play. Now it's back to the mirror match. Nice neutral sig reading the dodge in from Stingray, but he tries to sidelight the neutral light from Stingray, and the neutral light just has that priority. Again, it's just so even between the two of them, except for the fact that Boomy's down 2 games against Stingray.
Boomy definitely has the movement, and he's got the groovement. You're seeing him go left and right really fast before he actually commits to anything, whether he wants to fade forward, fade away, fast fall down, throw out a move. Like, look at all of that movement that comes from Boomy, even running all the way to the right side, now all the way to the left side of the stage. Just trying to create space, figure out when he wants to move in from Stingray, and even with all this movement in the world, Stingray's still coming out on top here. GCD Light recovery, not enough to KO, even with that little bit of boost that he got off the ground from the GCD Light.
Down air is coming out from Boomy. Couldn't get the second one. Would have been nice. Neutral air not even enough to put Stingray off screen. Still needs a lot more damage, but Stingray only needs the downlight into the recovery. Didn't even have to dare for the extra damage to guarantee it. And Boomy now on tournament stock here. He has to get this stock off of Stingray.
It's going to be tough. The sword is coming in for Boomy. Definitely looks like his not as confident weapon, because the way he was playing bow, you compare that movement and confidence and initiation and choosing when to attack, compare that to his sword. He did find the KO quickly. He's opting for the sword. Interesting.
Yo, that was wild. Boomy on the respawn picked up the sword and literally didn't throw out an attack until it was that side sig for the knockout. He just used his movement, waited, and hoped for the opportunity. Stingray gave him that opening, and he got the knockout.
He's playing sword kind of like old school EU. Like, he's floating a lot. He's not going for the D-Light stairs, D-Light recoveries, or at least they're not hitting as much. So a lot of his moves are just dares and nairs, the occasional sidelight, the occasional recovery.
Just kind of chipping away at the opponent. If that was his strategy, which I feel like is a strategy he came up with mid-match, but if that was what he had going into this, I would have liked to see a higher strength character. Maybe something with a hammer like a Scarlet or a Taros that you just like, if you're going to try to just chunk away at your opponent per hit, then might as well get the biggest chunks possible.
Again, he's not throwing out D-Light stairs, D-Light recoveries, no D-Light dare recovery. It's like, it's just single hit moves, and then they just kind of reset, or Boomy tries to punish a landing. But again, the punish is going to be a neutral light. It's going to be a nair. It's going to be a dare. We're not seeing any sword momentum from Boomy, but also Stingray's not really getting much momentum either. Stingray is behind here. Boomy needs to get the KO. He needs to win this game if he wants to stay alive.
And he will with the downlight into the recovery. Boomy going to hold on in game number 3. We're going to game number 4. Stingray sticking with the Asuri. And I think, like, you kind of hit the nail on the head with the way that game was playing out towards the tail end, where it was basically very small neutral wins. Boomy just kind of getting enough neutral wins that he's going to ultimately win the game. And a big reason for that is because if you go back and watch the last 3 games, Stingray loves to do wake-up attacks. So every time Boomy tried to maintain pressure, tried to go forward after getting a hit, Stingray shut it down immediately. So Boomy's like, all right, I'll just win in neutral, and I don't have to worry about this pressure as long as I can ultimately hit you more than you hit me.
Now, one thing that'll be interesting to see is how Stingray adapts in this game to not only the way Boomy's playing, but also Stingray is very deep in this tournament. This tournament's been going on for a long time. It started even earlier today than normal. Stream was at the same time, but tournament was a little bit earlier than normal. So Boomy definitely has more experience going deep in bracket, playing long tournaments, waiting for games to happen, all of the above. Stingray, it seems like he's doing great against it.
Yeah, really not showing any signs of fatigue at all as he gets the dunk down, and Boomy gonna lose that first stock to the Asuri neutral signature.
That's a bad way to start this game. If you look at last game, it was like 4.5 minutes, almost 5 minutes for the entire game. So Boomy wanted to slow things down. He was getting chip after chip. They would kind of trade blows back and forth. No huge lead for either player. But now that Stingray has a massive lead, has Boomy in orange on his second stock already, This is not a good look for the way Boomy wants to play this game against Stingray.
This is looking real rough for the Boomy. Stingray looking so strong here in game number 4. Already a full stock lead over Boomy, and another one. The down signature will put Boomy back to tournament stock, but 3 stocks left on Stingray.
Now, if you look at their past tournament history, in the past year, Boomy and Stingray only met each other in tournament once. And Boomy lost that one, and it's looking like he might lose this one as well. Does get the stock with the down signature, the Tatami mat coming in clutch for Boomy. Swaps back over to the bow, away from the sword, different than what he did before. Now picking up a second bow. Stingray disarmed.
Boomy gonna try to play that weapon denial game. It's gonna be so important because Stingray, when he has the guitars, just has the read onto Boomy's movement. We've seen him catch Boomy dodging down. We've seen him catch Boomy dodging away as well. Like, Stingray just has every single punish onto Boomy.
Yeah, even though Boomy had weapon control for an extended period of time, it's like it didn't matter. He found like 3 hits onto Stingray. Stingray also found a couple hits onto him, but it's like he was just delaying the inevitable. He wasn't able to turn that into any damage, any lead, any stocks, anything like that. And now Boomy finds himself in the red, possibly final stock in the tournament here in Game 4. He's going to have to mount a massive comeback, which I don't even know if that's doable with the way Boomy's been playing this set so far.
He needs a Gimp. It has basically become to the point where he has to get a Gimp onto Stingray, something that he has yet to do in this game, yet to do in a set against Stingray. And Stingray, one more side air, one recovery, and Boomy is gone. Nice ground pound. Keeping him barely alive, but he cannot afford to take any hit from anything with variable force.
That was a KO in orange, too. That was a good place to start. Weapon Spawn's going to come in, and a neutral light from the left side of the stage. Stingray gets the KO onto Boomy, knocks him out of the tournament. That is another set victory in there. A little bit not playing very much with each other in tournaments, even though they've been around for a little while now, but still, huge knockout for Stingray going in. He's going to be guaranteed top 3. He's going to be fighting Phazon next, but man, that was kind of a grind.
Yeah, that was definitely tough. Boomy was fighting for his dear life, just trying to do everything in his power to slow down Stingray, but when Stingray got the momentum, just completely started running over. Boomy had the neutral game, had the movement in that last game, and Stingray was able to close it out. And of course, that means Stingray's in the hot seat. He's now got to win every single set if he wants to win this tournament, which is a weird phrase. Of course, everyone has to win every set, but he's not going to get a break. He's going to go from Phazon immediately into Grand Finals against Sandstorm if he can get through Phazon, which he is going up against right now.
And that's going to be 2 back-to-back great swords. We'll see if Phazon is going to start with the great sword with the Jaeyun right off the bat, or if he's going to go over to the Hattori, most likely the Wushang of the pick between those 2 characters.
Yeah, I'm seeing him locked in on the Jaeyun already, which makes the most sense. Jaeyun seemed to have worked against Stingray in the winner's semifinal, so Phazon maybe just trying to take a page out of Sandstorm's book in that winner's semifinal and go in with the Jaeyun against Stingray on the Asuri. Stingray ultimately had to swap some characters in that winner's semifinal. We'll see what ends up happening as this set progresses. Again, another best of 5, lots of opportunities to change around characters as we get into game number 1 of the losers final.
Now, I haven't really noticed what stance that players are playing Jaeyun with. Here, Phazon is going into the strength stance, going to give him a little bit more juice in those moves. Stingray, on the other hand, I think he was in movement speed. I didn't quite see it.
I think they're both in the anti-dex stance, whichever one takes out a dex. There we go. Phazon gets a sidelight opener. Nice reset, gonna continue it, gets the extra string, the undodgeable, or sorry, the unjumpable. Goes straight into the side, a little bit less variable force, just wants to get Stingray off stage, and the dares will give Faison the first stock.
That is a tough way to start this game after a very confident victory against one of the best players in the game. Gets the start of that string, but isn't able to turn it into too much. Faison already controlling a lot of this game, finding more hits as he's not even orange yet on his first stock. That sidelight finally turned him orange. 2 more hits, 3! Almost gets the double recovery there. Stingray ends up getting below and behind him, comes in with his own recovery on the Katars. But man, Stingray went up against Sandstorm's Greatsword, got 3-0'd. Based off of the evidence that we have so far in Game 1, it's looking like he might get 3-0'd again, this time by Faison.
Oh, wow. Interesting option from Faison. Didn't go for the obvious, like, just straight punish from below recovery or nair. Instead, waited for Stingray to kind of have gravity start affecting him before going for his side air to finish off that second stock. Final stock here for Stingray in game number 1.
I kind of dig that side air, too.
Yeah.
Because who knows if the recovery would have killed. Like, you're oh, putting him in a good spot. Oh, no! The down air, like, how did that was weird. It's like the down air
I think he didn't
with
expect
the
it to land. I think he was looking for the aerial down air, which would have just kind of spiked, but because he got that landing one, ended up being more of the setup tool.
Yeah, that's super weird that happened. But man, Faison, really good spot. Would have had the easy KO there, possibly, or it would have been a 3-stock if he got it. Recovery coming out, juggling Stingray. Definitely having a much better time against Stingray than Boomy did.
Downlight side air, and that's the stock. Faison takes game number 1 in convincing fashion. Stingray's going to have to make a swap, but I don't know what he's got that'll work. I mean, Sandstorm 3-0'd him, and it looks like he's going to go to the Taros.
He's swapping over, taking away like the nice, nimble, cat-like reflexes that come from having the Katars, that come from playing a Surrey, and he's just going to go all power, all the time. What do we need? We need more power.
He even went in with the strength stance on that one. Thank you, Tim. But Stingray going to be going over to this Taros, like we said. And this is Crystal Temple. This is where we saw him start off the tournament with this Taros. And now you're seeing why!
Oh my god!
100-0. Faison, no damage taken, hops in the car, drives away with game number 2.
Like, I know you're not supposed to rely on one thing. To be a good Brawlhalla player, you need to rely on more than one thing. You need to have a mastery of your character. But, like, brother, you need a greatsword, and you need it bad.
I mean, you need a weapon, and you need it bad. Faison has yet to get anything. Stingray denying all the weapons, denying stage control. Finally, Faison picks up a greatsword, and he's starting to put out some hurt, but he's a stock behind.
It was 40 seconds into the game before he got a weapon. He's found like one hit since he picked up the weapon. That's the second one. Stomp side air in the red. Stomp had him in orange. The side air turned him red, and that was enough to KO.
Stingray going to be sticking with this axe. Faison's got the sword in hand, but this is looking rough. Faison likely waiting for a greatsword spawn, waiting for that weapon spawn so he can swap out, because the greatsword is what did the work in game 1.
Sidelight in air. Stingray waits a little bit, then jumps. Doesn't immediately go for the recovery or the ground pound read or any type of signature read off of that. Neutral light coming out from Faison. Still unable to get this KO. Side airs the direction that is away from the nearest blast zone.
Nice bait.
Gets the KO. Trying to fight his way back in this. Out comes a weapon spawn. Gonna have that great sword in hand.
Stingray going to jump over it. Faison catches his landing, goes for the recovery, but Stingray able to dodge past. Nice punish, goes for the dash back, and almost caught Stingray, but one more side air, and Faison is gone. Scoop!
Ooh, the down air. Going to grab him from the stage, send him up, get the KO off the top. We're seeing massive damage differences between the two. Like the first game, it was like 562 to 283. Literally, basically double damage. Just a few damage ticks away from double. This time, it was like 252 to 506. So again, basically double damage, but in the other direction. Phazon still sticking with this Jae-Yun, still believes in the Greatsword. I certainly still believe in his Greatsword. He's just got to get a weapon, and it comes out. He grabs it right from under Stingray, Greatsword in hand.
Yeah, what it really feels like, going back to your point about the damage numbers, is whoever gets that initial control, whoever gets that initial stock, just maintains it for the rest of the game. That's what happened in game 1. Phazon got the Greatsword, got the stock, kept it going. Same thing happened in game number 2, except in Stingray's favor. Now we're in game 3, and it's looking a little bit more even.
And in about 10 seconds from now, that's when Phazon grabbed his first weapon last game. Yeah. That seems painfully long. So this game, even though he grabbed the Greatsword first, not going much better
doesn't have
for
the
him.
movement. Oh, he does! Just barely. I thought he was out. I saw him grayed out. I thought he was done for. He's going to get the corner touch, but he needs to get more damage here.
Oh, goes for the weapon toss into the side signature. Gonna miss that one as Stingray was just too far away from it. Again, coming with the down air, but Stingray was floating in the air, gets down below him, picks up the neutral air for the KO off the top. Even though Phazon's at a disadvantage here in terms of stocks, he's not in a bad spot unless Stingray is able to keep these weapons away from him.
What a 4-piece, and I'm calling it 4 because that weapon toss was a part of it. The dare into D-Sig, not too new, but I like the weapon swap into a pickup and then going for that quick jump nair as well. Getting just already damage built up onto Phazon's second stock.
Counting the weapon toss as a 4-piece, that's like when you get wings from like a sus place. Like if you get wings at the movie theater, right?
No. He
They'll
ordered
like
a 3-piece, but he got a little bit extra. There's just like a piece of fried dough
right.
or batter.
Right. I was going for you order the 4-piece, and you pick up that last one, you're like, what the hell is this? Where's the rest of it?
This is like a third of an onion ring here, guy. That's not even what I ordered.
Phazon fighting his way back in this, though. It looks like he spoke to the manager. Might have gotten his money back here. Maybe even a gift card for the future.
Oh, but the weapon toss to the head. Phazon's in trouble. Stingray going to try to guarantee it. Doesn't even need to get the hit with that weapon toss. And Phazon down to his final stock here in game number 3. Looks like that manager's number might have been a fake number.
The manager saying, well, I mean, you ate 3/4 of the meal.
Yeah.
Like, we can't just give you your money back because you didn't like it. You kept eating it, brother.
We can't take this back. You got to pay for it. Oh, but a nice string from Phazon, getting the reset into the 3-piece. The same reset that Sandstorm was getting onto Phazon to close out, or to get that second stock taken off of Stingray.
And here to supersede the manager, who is that? It's the general manager.
Where did he come from?
Future food vouchers coming in saying Phazon is a loyal customer. We treat our guests the absolute best. Phazon might be able to take this game back. He's getting close.
It's looking close. Who's it going to be? Even damage between the two of them. Stingray goes for the greedy option with that side sig, but the side air much safer. Big down air, and Phazon did get the wall touch.
Oh, man. That weapon would have been like a little bit further to the left. Oh!
Homie left
Phazon
the vouchers in his pants.
Clipped by the side air. What an end to that game. Phazon still sticking with the Jae-Yun. We're going back to small Mammoth.
He left the vouchers in his pants, put them in the wash. They're gone. Tragic as we are going into game number 4. Stingray, 1 game away from earning that spot in the grand finals, proving Foda right when this started, that Stingray and Sandstorm were going to fight in the grand finals. Ooh, didn't get the hits on that one. He went for the reset. You saw the chase dodge forward, but he didn't get the neutral light and still opted for that down bridge.
It seems to be a favorite of Phazon. Maybe you watch Flambeau's video, his like short little condensed video where it was like, all right, here's what you need to know. Side light, D-light bridge, in light, D-light bridge. And then he just went through like a few of the other ones. That was a nice crash course for me in the very beginning because I don't want to watch nothing long. My brain is small. I'm American. I have no attention span.
Yeah, you said it, not me. So far, though, damage in favor of Stingray. Lots of hopping right now as Stingray finds the side air. Phazon will find the ground with that soft platform. Nice side stick, puts Stingray in trouble. Weapon toss. Very close to the chest with that one, but the neutral signature from Stingray will take the first stock here in game number 4.
Classic Taros move coming in. Neutral signature right over that corner. So Phazon spawns in. It's going to be the great sword here already. Oh, man!
I like that. I like
the
patience.
He's still getting it!
Saying he's got resets of his own. Got the sidelight Nair, waited, then got Nair Sair, waited, got sidelight Nair. Good damage being put out onto Phazon's second stock. There's the weapon pickup. Phazon needs a big read here.
That's when you grab your fries out the bag, and then you eat them, and then you look back in the bag, and there's some more fries in the bag. You're like, yo, extra fries. And then you pull up the napkins that were in the bag, and there's more fries underneath the napkin.
They're looking like a Five Guys bag. They just dump all the fries in there. Sidelight doesn't do anything after it. Not even like movement. Like he's straight up waited after hitting that sidelight, just trying to evaluate how Stingray's reacting to these openers. And Stingray's just bunny hopping over Phazon. Like he's not throwing out a lot of moves. He's just moving around Phazon.
He's looking like Boomy's sword towards the middle of the last set that we just saw. Oh!
Nice read.
That's the dodge.
Ooh, just over the downlight.
Stingray just waiting.
Soft platform. Helping Phazon out a little bit.
Oh, man. You know he wants the Sair punish so bad, but he doesn't want to commit to it unless it's guaranteed like that one.
Dude, that is something that has been so devastating to Phazon. Is he does really like to recover high. That's one thing that Cody Travis did against him so often, was just recover high with them and punish him with side airs. Same thing happening here against Stingray. Phazon with a fantastic gravity cancel down light to get that spin around to finish off that stock. And we're here in final stocks, except Phazon, if he loses this stock, he is knocked out and Stingray goes into the grand finals.
Now, for those who aren't aware, when you gravity cancel a greatsword move in the air, you're going to get the finisher version of it. So you're going to get that extra boost. So it's going to hit harder.
Running out of movement. Nice turnaround.
Still just in yellow. Any dare hits or Sair hits aren't going to send him too far.
Jumps over the side air punish. Misses the Nair, though. And Stingray still maintaining that stage control. You can see the way Stingray's trying to shove Phazon to this outside, shove him to the wall. And Phazon doesn't even want to go for the soft platform. Oh, no.
Phazon possibly on tournament stock here. It's not looking good. He's disarmed. Neutral air comes out. Stingray going to strip the field. The weapon toss into the side air. Stingray is going to move through Phazon after moving through Boomy, going up into the grand finals against Phazon.
The hot seat gets hotter as Stingray now has to do a best of 5 in the grand finals. And if he can beat Sandstorm, something that is almost unheard of, if he can beat Sandstorm, then he has to go for another best of 5 and do it all over again. So much opportunity for Sandstorm to adapt to what Stingray's doing. But Stingray is proving a very important point here, and that's that Great Sword isn't the end-all be-all. Stingray is beating Great Swords.
He is beating Great Swords, but we'll see if he's going to beat the greatest Great Sword in North America, which is Sandstorm right now. He has taken weapons that people didn't believe were strong. He's taken weapons that people do believe are strong, and he's come out on the top in so many different tournaments. Again, now doing it with Greatsword, I want to give him so much credit for having a vast array of weapons that he's mastered. He's mastered Gauntlets from the Mordex. He's mastered Scythe from the Mordex. He's mastered Cannon from the Zal. Axe as well from the Zal. Now he's coming in with the Jaehyun pick. He's mastering Greatsword. He's mastering Sword as well. He even played Nyx and placed extremely well, showing he had a set of blasters too.
I mean, he is, if there was ever a rule about Brawlhalla and how it should be played, Sandstorm has been the exception. He's proven time and time again he is the exception to any rule in Brawlhalla. And there you're seeing the head-to-head coming in power rank 3 versus power ranked 6. Sandstorm versus Stingray. We're going to get right on into the grand finals. Of course, Stingray going to start it off with the Taros and Sandstorm on the Jaehyun.
That's crazy, though, that Stingray is PR6. He doesn't have quite the career that Sandstorm had in the beginning, but give him some more time, and I think it's possible. Even though Sandstorm's kind of like a once-in-a-lifetime player for Brawlhalla, Stingray coming in PR6 in very early on in his career, I think that's huge.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first year we've seen Stingray, and he burst onto the scene. Didn't have as amazing of showings after that first tournament, but still, he's been doing incredibly well for himself. Coming here, guaranteed at least top 2 finish in the Mammoth Cup, the final PR tournament before the World Championship, but he's got to run into Sandstorm on the Death Jester. Jaehyun already has Stingray in the red.
So, like, going into this tournament, PR is not the end-all, be-all for your seed. The seed is going to base more on what you recently placed, whereas PR is going to reward consistency. So even though he's not winning tournaments every other week, the fact that he is PR6 in North America shows he is consistent. You look at some of the other players that are around him. Sandstorm, long-time player. Boomy, long-time player. Oh, but Sandstorm gets the KO right like that. Just over a minute 10 into the game. But you look at like Phazon, longtime player, Santi, longtime player, Lil Cap, Wrench, Remy, longtime players here. Stingray's kind of like the new kid on the block. Even though he's been around a year, he's kind of the new kid on the block.
Okay, definitely not as much tournament experience as Sandstorm hitting these side airs. Stingray is gone. 1 stock left for Stingray here in game number 1, but Stingray already shown his potential to be a household name. I feel like that's the point that we're trying to make. Nice big down sig, though, put Sandstorm off stage, but Sandstorm still able to retain this greatsword.
You look at recent placements of Stingray coming in 3rd at Autumn Championships, 5th at Low Tier, 3rd Summer 2020, and you go back into the beginning of the year.
Oh!
He's playing really well then, too. World Championship 2020,
Sorry.
2nd place.
He just
but
got
it's like
3
he
stock.
can't handle. Yeah, he just can't handle it.
It's Sandstorm, man. Like, Stingray, again, has had an amazing year, but he's running into the biggest brick wall of all. Sandstorm looking absolutely monstrous. A fantastic gravity-canceled down sig read. Like, that's what everyone who has ever just even touched Jaehyun wants to do, is hit that offstage gravity cancel down signature, and Sandstorm did it in the grand finals of the Mammoth Cup.
That's already game 1 down. Stingray not in a great spot now, having to go into game 2, swapping over to the Ragnir, going into the deck stance, taking out a movement speed. Man, 4 movement speed is not a lot.
Yeah, that it's like just under what most players consider the okay amount, right? Like most people are like, all right, 5, that's the minimum that is required for me to play a legend. But Stingray's showing that he's kind of okay with it. You talked a little bit earlier about some of the character picks Stingray's had. He's had the Queen Nai, so I guess he's kind of used to having less than stellar movement speed.
Yo, where's that axe from? That axe is hot.
That's the new one. That's the Rick Grimes axe from the Walking Dead crossover.
Dude, that axe is hard.
Yeah, I would imagine most of the axes are quite rigid, have some stiffness to them.
Okay, hopefully this set ends very quickly. I'm done.
Way to just root against Stingray, man. But right now, game number 2, Stingray getting the better of Sandstorm, showing why he's stuck with the axe between the legend pick, the previous one, that Taros, over to the Ragnir. Again, utilizing these soft platforms. Nice big neutral light, and Sandstorm is gone.
What a strange place for Stingray to get the recovery away from Sandstorm after you'd blown so many movement options. Like from the middle of the stage, like less than 1 jump height up, he hits an axe neutral light, and that takes the recovery.
No. As long as it denies that movement, definitely works out, right? Like it's like if it works, it works. Nice side signature from Sandstorm, though. Will even up the stock count. Able to pick up the greatsword. And, of course, gonna prime the second greatsword. Already starting it off with a 4-piece. Was able to get that turnaround recovery as well to maintain that pressure onto Stingray.
Ooh. Big damage comes through. GC
Trouble.
sidelight. Stingray
Trouble.
punishes that, hits the recovery. Oh man, almost grabbed the down air. Likely would have sealed Sandstorm's fate. Nice reset, backing up.
How did that neutral sig not hit? The Nair saving
Whoa.
Sandstorm, but Stingray's going right back in. Dodges past the first side light, but Sandstorm was still in the stance, so went for the closer side light immediately. And the third swing, neutral closer. And Sandstorm, starting to stutter step, knows that he is one stock away from closing out game number 2 and putting him in fantastic. Just kidding. A neutral signature from Stingray will even up the stocks.
It's going back over to the Axe. We haven't seen too much from the Katars on this Ragnar pick, despite Stingray being much more of a Katar player here. His Axe is looking very strong. Sidelight Nair waits! Even fades down a little bit before going back up for the side air. Looks like Axe is going to be his best option against Sandstorm's Greatsword.
No, but Sandstorm, again, going for these resets. Juggles. Sandstorm in a little bit of trouble getting back down away from all those neutral airs from Stingray, but he eventually found ground, and he's starting to play this vertical game. You're seeing him go high and then low.
Ooh, that time Sandstorm chose to dodge right after the sidelight whiff, instead of going for one of the options he went for previously. Always changing up what he does.
Ooh. Doing it again. Sandstorm gonna close out game number 2. That's something that we saw earlier on from Sandstorm. Is he'll go for sidelight neutral sig and then it'll whiff, and then he's like, all right, I'll just do it again. Sidelight neutral signature, and that time it connects. Stingray now on tournament point. Or I guess technically Sandstorm's the one on tournament point. Stingray's on 1 game from losing.
Oh no.
Ooh.
Oh no, no. Oh no.
This
He's
is the
playing Vector.
pocketiest of picks from Stingray. No carryover to any of the characters he has played today. He is going deep in the bag for this Vector pick. Granted, when it comes to raw weapon matchups, Bo and Lance are rumored to have the best matchup against Greatsword, but is that enough?
So far he's going even, but 20 seconds into a game is not very long unless you're being
Oh, no.
weapon starved like
Oh,
Faison! And it was long enough for a few more seconds to pass, and Sandstorm gets the KO.
Sandstorm running away here in the grand final. Stingray got the big missile in hand, playing with this Vector, could go airplane mode, but is yet to really get any hits with this Lance so far. Granted, he does have the Orion, so I guess I rescind my statement earlier. He does have a little bit of a Lance.
Yeah, bro, then just play Orion. I would appreciate it if you just played Orion.
No.
Oh, man. The bottom side of that
no.
hitting him. Stingray going down again. He is on tournament stock. Very close to being knocked out here. That is one of the coolest skins in the game.
Yo, I'm liking the sunset colors. I like the skin. Stingray's got the look, but right now Sandstorm's got the damage. Oh my goodness, Stingray is like, how do you even come back from this?
You don't. You throw out a couple light moves. You're gonna take an in sig, maybe
No.
a D sig. That's what. Don't play Vector, my guy, unless you're just looking to have some fun here. Sidelight's coming out from Sandstorm. Hasn't found the one to hit yet. Sidelight goes for the neutral light. Goes for the neutral light opener. Weapon toss coming out.
Don't get 3-stucked. Game 3 here. Sandstorm was looking for the Nair. Trying to reset here again.
He gravity cancels a down signature on the stage.
Oh! He got him with the bridge, but he didn't go for the closer. Sandstorm's got...
What?
This is what he did in 2s. When he didn't get his combo with Boomy, he's running up. Sandstorm.
What?
Is this
what?
the... If he's just going down to his final stock here, yeah, this is the Sandstorm BM. This is the, I don't even need the first 2 stocks to finish this one. Stingray, he's 1 hit away. A downlight recovery, and it's over, and Sandstorm is going to be the Mammoth Cup champion, and he's going to do it in style by throwing away 2 stocks against Stingray. This is grand finals.
Look how far that weapon toss hit him. Oh my gosh, how is that not KO? He's going to KO with a weapon toss. He's going to KO with a weapon toss like on stage too.
Yo, one recovery. That's all Sandstorm needs. You see him looking for these unarmed recoveries. There it is! Sandstorm is going to be crowned the Mammoth Cup champion, showing his dominance in the region, proving Sparky and I correct that he is the champion of this one. But huge congratulations to Stingray going home with the second place finish. Unfortunately, did get 3-stocked-ish in game number 3 of the grand finals. Do you call that a 3-stock?
Yeah, definitely call it a 3-stock. Absolutely call it a 3-stock.
I don't know, like free-for-all rules.
What?
Because like if you throw away your stock, you lose 3 points in free-for-all. So like you're denying them the ability to stop the 3-stock. So I feel like there's some cheating.
If you hit the Kung football into the goal in Kung foot, you get a goal.